Law, Lloyd Griffith, Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of Guyana, Mr. Nigel Grazandi, Registrar, Mrs. Gwyneth George, University Librarian, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's good to be home. Let me start by giving a little background to this donation of books, equipment and supplies to the UG Library. I've been an avid reader and book collector for a long time. Over the years, the books accumulated to the point where I had 10 full bookcases in my basement. I turned 60 last November, and retired a few days after that. I took it easy for about 6 weeks, then I decided to implement a project that I had in mind for some time, which was to donate my books, or the bulk of them anyway, to the UG Library. So I contacted UG librarian, Mrs. Gwyneth George, and she immediately green-lighted the project. I first came in contact with Mrs. George in 2014, as you heard, when, at my father's request, and on his behalf, I donated his book collection to the National Library of Guyana, to UG's library, and his French novels to the local chapter of Alliance Française. What can I say about Mrs. George? She is charismatic, unflappable, a true professional, steeped in the mysteries of library science. No wonder then that she is the recipient of a national award. The best is yet ahead, Mrs. George. In mid-January, when I started the process, my estimate was that there were 700 to 800 books. It turned out that there were over 1,000. The project was briefly interrupted by the death of my father in mid-February. I packed an average of 1 box of books a day, retired, remember. And when I was done, I ended up with 33 boxes containing over 1,100 books and printed publications. I contacted Le Parcom in Toronto, and they facilitated the shipment at a discounted rate. In terms of subject matter, the books range from law, history, politics, literature, religion, spirituality, to the paranormal, and even ufology. There's also an encyclopedia set. Even though I say so, the Caribbean and Guyanese collection is substantial. I also indicated to Mrs. George that I could help the university with some equipment and supplies. She emailed me the library's needs list, and I started to purchase some of the required items. So a second shipment consisting of 20 boxes of equipment and supplies was sent through Le Parcom. At this point, let me repeat what I said in 2014 when I donated my father's books. The University of Guyana was the brainchild of Dr. Chelly Jagan. By a happy coincidence, this year marks the birth centennial of President Jagan. It is therefore appropriate that we acknowledge and salute Dr. Chelly Jagan for his role in the founding of the University of Guyana. It was a pleasure and a privilege for me to be taught criminal law by the legendary J.O.F. Haynes, right here at UG. I also fondly remember law professor Calvin Eversley. His death at age 63 shocked and saddened me. I am exceedingly proud that my UG classmate, Chancellor Yonette Cummings Edwards, has deservedly risen to such dizzying heights. As is well known, Dr. Harold Drayton, who passed away this year, played the major role in making Dr. Jagan's dream of a national university a reality. His massive memoir, An Accidental Life, is among the books officially donated today. It is crammed with details of his early years growing up in Guyana, his university student life experiences in the Caribbean, and his involvement in the establishment of UG. He sketched tender portraits of Georgetown's Portuguese community back in those days. Another recently published big book in the collection is Years of High Hopes. It is a collection of letters written by an American couple who were living in Georgetown, in what was then British Guyana. It is very readable and interesting, a nostalgic treat. Wilson Harris also transitioned this year. Some of his novels are also included in the collection. Unlikely as it may seem, Sir Wilson and I corresponded over several years. This was by letter, so you could say we were pen pals. To my delight, I found that I could understand his letters, as they were quite straightforward, beautifully handwritten too, in green ink. I treasure his letters and have them stored away somewhere in a large envelope. I must find and reread them. The last exchange we had was when I wrote to express my sympathies on the loss of his beloved wife, Margaret, and to congratulate him on the knighthood that was bestowed on him, not long after her passing. In his reply, he agreed with me that the honor coming after her death was bittersweet. They are now reunited, and I would not be surprised if, wherever he is, Sir Wilson continues to create kaleidoscopic works of art. This donation experience triggered an idea in my mind that I would like to share with you today. What if there was a single website that would coordinate donations to various institutions in Guyana, such as libraries, schools, hospitals, orphanages, and seniors' homes? Every such institution would provide its address, contact information, and dynamic needs list on the website. By dynamic, I mean that the needs list will be regularly updated so as to prevent redundancy and duplication of donations. For example, suppose a school needed 4 printers and later received donations of 4 printers. Then, as printers are fairly durable and long-lasting, printers would be taken off the needs list. What would remain on the needs list would be supplies like cartridges, etc., which constantly need replenishment. When printers become old and useless, printers would then again be added to the needs list. In this way, the donations would be targeted and optimized to the most pressing needs. Having a single donation website has its advantages. The website could be publicized and promoted both in Guyana and abroad through advertisements, social media, shipping companies, and Guyana consulates. It could have a catchy name and website address. Guyanese who want to give back, and there are many, will then simply visit the site and pick whatever institution they wish to donate to. They would also be able to download and view that particular institution's needs list and select whatever items they wish to purchase and send to their chosen recipient institution. The website would provide the name, telephone number, and email address of the responsible person at the particular institution, who the donor can contact to discuss and coordinate his or her donation. Needless to say, all 3 counties and all 10 regions of Guyana would be represented on the website, and donors would be local citizens as well as Guyanese based abroad. Diplomatic missions in Georgetown could also utilize the website. In my view, the Guyana government is best suited to set up and maintain a website and program like this. It can do this by establishing a separate entity or take it under the wings of one of its ministries. As far as overseas donors are concerned, I'm sure that experienced shipping companies like the Department would be prepared to give discounts for the shipment of donations to institutions that are listed on the donation website. At the Guyana end, duty-free clearance can be facilitated and expedited for overseas donations. Consigning institutions would of course be responsible for pickup and transportation of the contents of the shipments to their institutions. Think about it. You could have a ship arriving at Port Georgetown from Toronto, New York, Miami, the UK, or the Caribbean every month, maybe every week, carrying needed equipment and supplies, all paid for already. Individuals and companies in Guyana could also contribute to the program. Perhaps there could be tax credits for qualifying categories of donations. All donors would receive letters of acknowledgement and appreciation for their donations from the recipient institutions, like the letters UG issues. In cases of substantial donations, there could be public presentations which could inspire others to do likewise. The donation website could show for each institution listed a regularly updated list of donors, dates of donations, and items donated. Donors who wish to remain anonymous would also have that option. In this way, tremendous synergies would be unleashed, as Guyanese who have the capacity and wish to donate would be matched up with institutions in need of assistance. It could be a case of Guyanese helping Guyanese. This then is the nub of the idea. Let me add one more wrinkle to it: the concept of thrift stores. Thrift stores like Community Aid in America and Value Village in Canada are places where people can buy lightly used, donated clothing, electronics, and a host of other household items for a fraction of the price these items would cost brand new. They are very popular and are used not just by the indigent. Why not introduce stores like these in Guyana? They can be supplied by local citizens as well as overseas Guyanese who have an excess of these items. Rather than sitting there gathering dust, the items can be donated to thrift stores in all 3 counties. Again, there will be synergies here as people declutter and help others at the same time. Information pertaining to the thrift shops can also be provided on the National Donation website. I'm aware that there are various charity initiatives, both within and outside of Guyana, which are geared to rendering assistance to Guyanese in various ways. However, as far as I know, these are unrelated and not coordinated in this comprehensive way. So I don't believe that my idea reinvents the wheel. I'm happy to have been given the chance to contribute to UG. Hopefully, after the shot in the arm, more such injections will follow. I'm aware that there have been criticisms of the university, and these continue. No doubt, some of it is justified. While there is room for improvement, I'm guided by a proverb believed to be of Chinese origin. It goes like this: it is better to light a candle than curse the darkness. My father, Dr. Mohammed Shahabuddeen, was born in Vredenhoek on the west coast Demerara. In Dutch, Vredenhoek means peace and hope. However, he grew up in the village of Liestideren on the Essequibo coast, and received his early education there. So that is the place he's associated with. Hustederen is also from the Dutch, and I understand that it means house of animals. The school he attended in Hustederen was a converted Dutch barn. By comparison, UG is palatial. I dedicate this donation to the loving memory of my parents, Judge Mohammed Shahabuddeen and Mrs. Zaira Shahabuddeen. They were both givers. God bless the University of Guyana. God bless Guyana.
And we now will go quickly to the point where the Vice Chancellor will give